I went and saw that Year One movie yesterday.
Oh, the Jack Black, Michael Cera thingy.
Yeah.
What was it? I heard. I've not.
Oh my god, it was fucking terrible. Like Avi was like, dude, we gotta go see that. We gotta go see that. And I was like, really? Like, I was like, fine, I'll go. Dude, the movie felt like it was 4 hours long. It like wasn't funny.
I hear that the stuff in the trailer is like the funniest stuff. Like beyond that, if they take out the stuff that's in the trailer, it's not that funny.
It's awful. It is awful. God damn,
It's too bad.
Fucking terrible.
And that's like Harold Ramis directed it too, which is.
Well, he didn't write it though. But the writing, oh god, that movie was so Jesus.
And
it felt like a fucking like 4 hour movie. I mean, it just wasn't funny. I just was waiting for it to end, and it just never did. That movie like ran like a half hour too long, however long it was.
Then it's all been about Ghostbusters now. The Ghostbusters sequel and the Ghostbusters game, and Ramis has been out there kind of pimping for it. And
I forget what other movie did we go see. I went and saw another movie on Tuesday. Oh, what movies have come out?
You mean just came out?
Yeah, like recently. So I saw another movie. Oh, it was a comedy. Oh, The Hangover.
How was that?
That was awesome.
I hear it's really funny.
Yeah.
I do hear that one's really funny, The Hangover. It's making a lot of money. People are seeing it, and then they're telling their friends, go see this. And
that movie's funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
really
saw
good.
Up, which I really enjoyed.
It's about old people. I don't want to see that. Wait, is this the end? Because this is what I was telling Avi. Because it's like a Pixar movie. Was it like the guy at the very end of the movie? Was it all in his imagination? He's like on the deathbed, and like he's like dreaming it out, and then he like the little meter just flatlines and he dies, and that's how the movie ends. Because that sounds like a Pixar movie. Is it really how it ends?
That's how it ends.
No.
That's how it ends. Shit, you should write for them.
Are you kidding me? Because because there's always gotta be some depressing shit, and I actually am like.
There's a snow globe actually.
Yeah,
it's a little.
That's been done.
We're back. This is Elliott Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois, here on the Comic Culture Warrior YouTube channel. We just had kind of an extended talk about Captain America 600. Let's move on to a DC book. A book that we were actually very much looking forward to by Paul Dini, Batman Streets of Gotham.
Number one.
And Dustin... I always pronounce his name wrong, right?
I pronounce it Gwyn. I don't know if that's his name.
Dustin Gwyn? I'll tell you, he rocked on 21 Jump Street. He,
Yeah, you made that joke like the 3 other times that I said that was his last name.
Well, there's just some things that aren't...
Can't you, like, get Carrot Top to freshen up some of your fucking material?
A lot of people hate Carrot Top, but he plays to big crowds in Las Vegas. They do. Prop comedy is never going to die.
And unfortunately, never is he. He just keeps getting bigger and stronger every time.
He does. All right. Anyway, with Gotham, Streets of Gotham, I'm sorry, I keep wanting to say Gotham Knights, but in Streets of Gotham, we have yet another post-Battle for the Cowl book. Paul Dini, what is this? Is this the point of view? Is this going to be the point of view type of book through Gordon's eyes?
Not really, because Gordon was only in it at the beginning.
But I mean, it's...
Well, you look at it, and it's the Streets of Gotham. It's all these different stories happening around Gotham with all these different characters, which I'm sure at some point will all converge in together.
Right.
So and that's kind of what it is. There's a Gordon story going on, then there's the Batman Damian story that's going on, then you have Harley Quinn in here, which I think this is going to spin off into the Gotham City Sirens, because Dini's writing that one too. Okay. And then you have the Firefly character is back in here, so you're getting all these, and then Damian visiting Thomas Elliott, Hush,
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these different stories going on right now. You're getting little snippets of each one, which are all, I'm sure, going to become a bigger part of the story. And so it's the aptly named Streets of Gotham, because all this stuff's going on right now, even in the streets as we speak. And there's this other character, which I'm not familiar with, but maybe Johnny Horror can help me out. Is this character is that his name, Abuse?
Abuse.
Which I don't know too much about him. I don't even know if he's a new character or not, but they're following him too. He looks like he's kind of a vigilante type character. So, I don't know, it's all this stuff going on, like little mini stories that all culminate into kind of like a bigger one towards the end. But yeah.
And it's funny that the end of the first issue ends much like that Battle for the Cowl did. Again, Batman and Robin up on the... It's like, I swear to God, Gotham is always on fire for one reason or another. Things are blowing up. People are burning, one thing or another. I mean, don't get me wrong. In this book, this scene at the end is actually way more effective than the scene in Battle for the Cowl, which again speaks to the ability of, say, Paul Dini as a writer in building the drama and the intrigue of each scene going on, moving along, and as you say, showing all these different stories that are going to converge at some point. And even from the get-go, that they have that nice little exchange in the beginning where Harley Quinzel is storming out of a jewelry store because, well, she's a criminal and people are afraid of her. And Batman, Dick Grayson as Batman now, pulls her up off the streets, up into the sky, and has that, that Batman moment that he would always have with all the different criminals. Right. I'm trying to remember. Does he do the gravelly voice when he talks too?
Dick Grayson? I don't know.
Who knows? But he doesn't even have the really good moment, the best line in the whole thing. Damian had to me the laugh out loud moment, which is, Quinzel is just mouthing off the Batman, and of course, instead of doing anything, Robin jumps on Harley Quinn, and it just comes out and says, she's annoying, man, cut out her tongue.
I like the fact that Grayson's just like, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Just placating him a little bit because he doesn't want to get into it right now with him. But, yeah, it was all right.
And it's already the new dynamic that they're talking about. It's the new dynamic where you have Damian is like this vicious little bastard, and Batman's got to be the one who reins him in as opposed to the old dynamic, So, again, very, very well done. Very, very well played. And, a good book. Another good Batman book. And
on top of that, this is one of the DC books now that is an extra $1. It's $3.99, but you're going to get a Manhunter backup story in here, and it fits in nicely with Streets of Gotham because she becomes a new DA of Gotham. She's pretty cool. She's been in and out of Gotham anyway with Birds of Prey and stuff like that. So bringing this character into Gotham now as a new DA, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, I just love the fact, because the DC did this with Booster Gold a couple weeks ago. They had the first Blue Beetle store back up in there, and Booster Gold for an extra $1. And I love the fact that DC it's $3.99, but I don't mind paying an extra $1 for a Manhunter story, because Manhunter was an awesome series, and it got canceled. Blue Beetle, awesome series, got canceled. And they're just characters that can't sustain their own books, so they're actually not dropping the characters at all. They're just putting them in as backup stories. Mm-hmm. It was like 8, 10, 12 pages or whatever.
9 pages.
Yeah, so, and next week in Detective Comics, you're going to have The Question as a backup story. And I like the fact that DC is doing that. These are characters that have a fan base, and the fan base really, really loves these characters. Manhunter was even revived at one point for another, few issue run, and now it's kind of gone again. Mm-hmm. So it's just good to see DC doing this, giving people some good story for the extra $1 instead of reprinting bullshit in the back or giving you sketches and stuff that you don't want for an extra $1.
And keeping the characters alive in the consciousness, and yeah, you're right, giving fans of those characters a chance to see them again, which is really that's kind of that this is not the first time comics have done this.
Right.
That's an old model that DC used to do back in the day.
I know, and I kind of. It's kind of weird because I knew that they were going to do it, but I didn't know it was going to come off this good.
Right.
And I think that's something that DC should talk more about. It's like, hey, we're giving you an extra 9-10 pages of story. That's what you're paying the extra $1 for. But the stories are done by like the original creators that were on those books.
Although I haven't heard really a whole lot of criticism of what DC's doing. I mean, Marvel...
I haven't heard any criticism either, but DC should be out there and saying, like, hey, they should be pushing this kind of thing. And if you were a fan of Manhunter and are discouraged because Manhunter doesn't have a series anymore, hey, guess what? Streets of Gotham is going to have a backup every month of Manhunter and get those people back in there.
And on top of that, it exposed maybe a lot of fans who never read Manhunter before to the character. Well, that's actually a good note to end this on. So when we come back, we'll have a couple more topics of discussion, hit a couple books very briefly, but do have a couple things to rant about. We'll see you then.